This is for the MWAs. Not the NWA. That ain't what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the MWAs. The men wandered at. This message is for you. In your life, you've just done too much. You've just overdone it. Now, what do I mean by saying this? In your life, the pain you have felt, the rejection that you have experienced, the betrayal and whatnot, these things were all done to show you just how much you weren't being you. In other words, in order for anything to grow, it requires pain. So those things we call betrayal or rejection, abandonment, it's all just pain. And without pain, we will not see any growth. Comfort doesn't allow for growth. Do you see it? Discomfort does. They're just like our own bodies. In order for your muscle to grow, you must endure pain. You cannot get a growth of a muscle without it. You see how necessary of an ingredient pain is to growth? And so it is psychologically. In order for you to grow psychologically, which we all must do to find the rest that we all are looking for, in order for us to grow, we must go through psychological pain. And you, my brother, have gone through this psychological pain because, as I've stated earlier in this message, you've just done too much. And you didn't know any better. You were brainwashed. You were manipulated. You were taught. You were miseducated. You understand? Against your own will. You grew up in a world where you were taught what love was, where you were taught what a man was, and those things that you were taught, as I said, were a miseducation. They were not the truth concerning those things. So in order for you to know that they weren't the truth, you had to suffer pain. You see? It's not about betrayal. It's not about someone rejecting you, as I've stated earlier. It's not about that. It's about your misconception of it. If you had the right conception of the thing you were dealing with, then you wouldn't feel the sting of the reaction that you get from them. In other words, if you knew that they would betray you before they did, then you wouldn't feel the sting when they do it. You will have already have dealt with that. You see? So then when it happens, you're prepared to stay in the right state of being, which is calm, present, still. You see, the thing is designed to bring you out of that state. That's why it's called a temptation. People think temptation is just about you as a man looking at a woman and lusting after her. That's just a sign. And see, the wicked and adulterous children look at things like that to tell them what a thing is. See, that's what Yahushua meant when he said, a wicked and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign. Wicked and perverted people do that. That means people that don't think right concerning life. People that have a misconception and a miseducation concerning life. They obviously have a faithless, perverse way of thinking. You see it? But the spiritual mind is life and peace. So it can only offer you a life and peace solution to whatever it is you're dealing with. That's the proof that you're in the spiritual mind, is that you're in a calm, still, present state without fear. You see it? And so, as I've stated, you've grown up thinking what love was. Well, that caused you to enter into relationships where you had a misconception, which then means that you were with somebody who didn't actually love you, nor could they. But you ascribed the responsibility of loving you to them, which is an error on your part. So you suffer because of your error, not theirs. They're only doing what they're designed to do. I'll give you an example of this. You ever heard of Samson and Delilah? Since we're speaking about men wandered at, you don't think Samson was one of those men that was wandered at a time? Of course. We still wander over him to this day because of the things he was able to do. But then we also see they're entering a woman, don't we? Yeah, we do. And we see that this woman didn't shuck or jive about who she was. But it also says that Samson loved her. See what I'm describing to you here? Men wandered at. Strong men. Do you see why I'm speaking to you and why I'm warning you of this? Because he loved her. It didn't say she loved him. It says he loved her. And because he loved her, he ascribed that to her. In other words, because I love her, then she loves me. No, that's not how it works. But many men have that misconception. But we saw that she was only there being used by some other men against him, right? She got paid a lot of money to betray him, to backstab him. That's who she was all along. But it says he loved her. Why would you love a woman who's trying at every turn to find out your weakness so that you can be destroyed? Or in other words, I said weakness, but really, she's trying to find out the source of your strength, the source of your power. Why? So that she can bring it low. That's what she is the whole time. So then why would you love her? Because you obviously have a misconception. So then what does that mean? That means because of your misconception, you're blind, right? That means you actually can't see, right? So then what happened to Samson? You Bible readers should know what happened to him. After she found out the source of his power, because he told her, because it says she vexed him to death. She stressed him out so bad about it, he wanted to die. But he loved her. Look at that there. Well, his eyes were plucked out of his head. Y'all hear that? He was blinded. That was his punishment. So then that's a sign to tell you what happens to you when you have a misconception concerning anything. You're blind concerning the truth of it. So then when you reap the punishment of that, you're looking at that. Did y'all hear what I'm saying? You're looking at that thing saying, oh, it's because of that thing is why I'm suffering. No, there's no power in that. There's only power in I am. So then why are you suffering? Because of your misconception concerning I am. See that there, my brothers? Now, what happens when you no longer have a misconception concerning I am? Don't you become powerful? Of course you do. You have no other choice in the matter. You see? Because now you're no longer going to get afraid by something that should not make you afraid. If you still had the mind of misconception, then you would get afraid by something that you should not be afraid of. Correct? And now when you look at the scripture, how many times did the Israelites do that? That's why I'm bringing it up. How many times did the Israelites look at something, become afraid, and were told not to? So like I said, that's why I'm bringing it up. Because so it is in your life. Men wonder that there are times when you're dealing with a woman where she will do something simply to test you. And you must understand that she may not even be aware that she's testing you. Do you understand what I mean? Forgive her, for she knows not what she does. She may be tempting you and not even realizing that she is. So when that takes place, it takes you to have the foresight, to have the vision, to be able to see clear enough, to be able to judge righteous judgment, instead of falling for the temptation that she's testing you with to test your frame. In other words, to see if you really are who you say you are. You can't be mad at somebody for challenging you for your championship belt if you claim to have one. You can't be mad at a challenger for stepping forward saying, I think I can take the belt from him. You can't be mad about that. Especially when you know that you're the true champion. You don't have to worry about, nor do you have to fear, nor do you have to stress or doubt. Isn't this true what I'm saying to you? You know it is. You know it is. All right, now back to what do I mean when I say you were doing too much. This is what I mean. Like I said, you were facing a temptation and you spoke when you should have stayed silent. See, you was doing too much. You stayed when you should have walked. You was doing too much. You raised your voice when you should have lowered your voice. You did more when you should have done less. Do y'all follow this and you see the point of what I'm saying? It feels natural to respond in a way where when you see somebody in an emotional state, you check on them. And that's all fine and good. But what a man must realize is that his emotional state is independent of whoever emotional state he's checking on. So in other words, if he's, like I say, he's dealing with his woman, he'll go to her and he'll say, hey, you doing okay? You all right? And she may say, hell no, I ain't all right. I'm mad than a motherfucker. His independent emotional state will remain the same. It doesn't matter if she said, I'm mad than a motherfucker, or if she said, oh, I'm having a great day today. His emotional state stays the same. But what men have found themselves doing is when her emotional state is in chaos, his enters into that chaos. So then he has been led, see, into temptation. See how he was led, the scripture says? Lead me not. But he was led into it. He was enticed into it. He was tempted. See how it's not always about a beautiful woman. That's just an illustration or a sign. So if you're the kind that only looks at the sign, then you'll miss what I'm telling you. You see how easy that is to understand? You'll miss what I have told you, which is the greater understanding concerning the principles that I'm talking about. So now, if you're led into that chaotic state that I've described, then are you still? Are you calm? Do you see what I mean? So then you've left your house. You've left your state of sovereignty to become a slave to someone else's state of being. But that's not power. See what I'm trying to tell you? The power is I am. The state of being that I am in is my power, not the state of being someone else is in. See what I'm trying to explain? Men have had a misconception. Happy wife, happy life. This means if you come home and your wife isn't happy, then you will start to labor to make her happy. And when you do that, you are now laboring in vain. You have also made yourself undesirable. You have also turned off any type of on she may have had for you. You have now made yourself into a slave. So now you have lost all respect in your home. She no longer can reverence you. She no longer can be subject to you because you're no longer powerful. You have shown her that you believe power is outside of God. Even if she doesn't know God, she will rebel if you do that because God is the one who set it up. Come on now. Proving his divine power. See, it's proving it. Everyone is subject. Every knee shall bow. Doesn't matter who you are. You see how this word come true? So whenever a man is in the state of being that God told him to be in, then the woman will reverence him. She has no choice but to do it. How can I prove it? I always do with Yahusha on the boat. Let's see if he gets reverence for the state of being I've just described to you and nothing other than that state of being. Let's see. He's on the boat. There's a storm. Yahusha's asleep. The rest of the men are screaming, talking about how they're going to die, and they're afraid. But Yahusha's asleep. And so they go down there and wake him up. As if the storm wasn't enough to wake him up, they go down there and wake him up. And when he wakes up, he rebukes the wind and the waves, and he says, peace be what? In other words, as within, so without. So what the state of being I am in, which is power, will now exude that power outwardly, and everything around me will then fall into alignment with that power that I am walking in. See what I'm trying to say about how the woman has no choice but to reverence you when you're walking in that power. Now let's see where the reverence came in at in reference to what I've just told you. So now he's on the boat and he says, peace be still. And when he says that, the men wander at him. See what I mean about men wandered at? They wander at him and then they say, what manner of man is this? That's called reverencing. And then they worshiped him. That's called reverence, isn't it? Isn't it? Does it say they worshiped him or does it not? Go ahead on and read for yourself and see. I'll wait for a second while you do so. Okay, you saw it, huh? They worshiped him. So that's the reverence I was describing. You will receive if you stay in the correct state of being all the way until the outward manifestation matches. So in other words, your wife is acting nuts. She's in a state of chaos, in other words. Men didn't used to know how to deal with that. But I told you I am the sprout, the man whose name is the branch. By sprout, I mean I am a new creation. See, I'm a new creature. And therefore, I'm a new man. So this is why I'm going to tell you the new way, the new wine in which you will serve to your wife to make her heart merry when it's not. So when your wife gets all chaotic and everything, you look at her and think that that's real. That's your error, first of all. You look at it and believe that that's real what you're looking at, not understanding what a temptation is. A woman that wants to tempt a man is not being honest with him. Do y'all understand that point right there? In other words, the prostitute on the street is not being honest with the John. She's not. When she says she loves him, she does not. When she says she's been waiting for him all day and thinking about him, no, she's not. She only been thinking about Washington, Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson and the like, Grant and all of them. That's who in the hell she's been thinking about, Ulysses and them. But you think she's been thinking about your ass, so you keep giving her all your Ulysses, all your Franklins and every damn thing else, because you fell for the lie. She's milking you of some substance, some life force energy, and lying and flattering in order to get the life force energy, which is your dollars. Y'all understand the lingo that I'm speaking to you today? Well, same goes here. Yahusha ain't giving it up. He's not being a whoremonger. He's not fornicating. You see? He has no idols, which means he has no power outside of I am. So when the storm comes up, he understands I am power, not that storm. Y'all are scared because you think the storm is more powerful than I am. But I'm going to prove that that's not true. And then he did. So then what should you do? He says, take up your cross and follow me. So then what should you do? That's my question. When your wife gets stormy, when your friend gets stormy, when your job gets stormy, when your kids get stormy, when your life gets stormy, when your job gets stormy, when your co-worker gets stormy, when your mama gets stormy, when your daddy gets stormy, when your sister getting stormy, when your auntie got stormy, y'all feel me? What do you do? Peace be still. I'm calm. Now, which one is going to win this arm wrestling? See, you lost the arm wrestling before the game even started because you never were polar. In order to have an arm wrestling match, you need two polar forces, two opposing forces. You see it? Well, you're not polarizing yourself. You're becoming a subordinate force. In other words, you're submitting your force to them and energizing what they say it is, which is chaos. And then you say you hate the chaos that's being done right in front of you. Well, stop energizing it. What happens when you pull the plug out of the wall? The TV goes off, doesn't it? Yes. Why? Because it's no longer energized. So then what happens to their chaos when they turn it on? When you unplug it? What happens to it? It go off. Did you know that? See how the old man didn't know that? He didn't know how in the hell to get that TV off. Do y'all hear me today? Because what I'm telling you is absolutely true. The old man does not know how to get the TV off. This is what he tells you to do, and this is how you know if it's old wine. This is his advice when the chaos comes. Well, you simply go over there and ask your lady, how are you feeling, honey? And then listen and be a good listener when she tells you about what has her all upset and everything. And then after she tells you that, then you use some creativity and come up with a date night. Get her nice and dolled up and everything, and spend a little money on her, and take her to a nice restaurant, and light a candlelight dinner, and pour a nice glass of wine in there, and sing a song, and have Chris Brown come and do a little dance for her as he sings Yo and everything else to her. And then after that, then you take her to on a nice walk on the beach together and hold her hand ever so gently as you look into her eyes that twinkle in the moonlight. That's the kind of shit he's saying. That won't do anything but make her hate you. Hate means reject. So then when you get rejected after doing all of the chocolate-covered strawberries, after Chris Brown has done his dance and the candle's wax has melted and everything all the way down, and you've done everything that you can do, you're still rejected, and now you're even more perplexed and mad, and you think, she's evil! Women ain't shit, man! Fuck it, Chris Brown, bring your ass back and sing that other song you wrote. These hoes ain't loyal, no they ain't. Oh no, these hoes ain't loyal. Nigga, you ain't loyal to I am. And that's why you suffer. What the hell do you think God meant when he said the man listened to his woman instead of to him? Abba says, I am peace be still. So then when you don't listen to that and instead you get all chaotic and everything, and baby damn, I just asked you what was wrong. You're getting all mad at me and everything. Damn. I mean, you said you want a guy that cares about you, but look how you act when I care. I mean, goddamn. I'm doing everything I can. I'm losing it here. I thought you loved me. And you guys think I'm being dramatic by sounding like that. Y'all must not be familiar with the old man you all were. I am. I'm familiar with that nigga. That nigga get to looking crazy as hell when he think he's going to be abandoned. He gets to looking crazy and fucking scared as hell when he think he's going to be rejected. He's like, no, baby, don't leave me, girl. Please stay with me tonight. Don't leave me, girl. Please go. Okay, man. Okay. Shit. God. Sheesh. If that girl leave you, you don't think you can make it. Yeah, y'all heard the song. I can't live without you. I can't eat without you. You've heard all the songs of the old man. That shit is bullshit. That's a lie. But you grew up in it, so that's what you thought. If I do all of this sweet, nice, kind stuff, that girl will love me. Then how come she likes the nigga that comes in with all the power that kills every damn thing? How come she jumps on his arm like Superman? Why is she hanging all on Clark Kent and every damn thing? Huh? Do you understand the concept of what I mean? Because women gravitate to power. So whenever you're not powerful, and I told you what makes you not powerful. See? Men think they have to have all kinds of things to have a wife. I'm living proof that you don't. You only need one thing. What do you think that is? And all men will say it. Oh, a man don't need nothing but God. We have God in his life. Yeah, everything work out good for him. When a man's ways please the Lord, he makes even his enemies to be at peace with him. Did you hear that, brother? Yeah, I heard that. But you still getting rejected. Oh shit, yeah, I did. And the only time you get rejected is when you're not powerful, like I said, because when you are powerful, you are magnetic. You see it? When you are powerful, you become magnetic. And the feminine has no choice but to respond to that magnetism. See? Opposites attract, we say. Well, feminine and masculine are opposites. That's why when she acts feminine, in other words, chaotic. See, did you know that was feminine? Oh, grandson, I didn't know. I thought chaos was a masculine thing. No, it's actually feminine. So when she gets chaotic, what's the masculine thing to do? To be calm and still. You're saying, yeah, but I'm not saying that. Who said that? God did. All right, then. So I guess I am saying it. So, do y'all follow what the grandson is saying today? That you're not powerful when you don't have God. And you don't have God when you think something outside of I am is power. See? That's actually a man who's powerless. A man who does not have I am. So then he's not focused on I am when you run off into that chaos. You are focused on the woman. You have done the first sin, which is to listen to the woman instead of God. God says stay in the house. You didn't. You were enticed by her devices. And her devices are this. A bunch of women, if they were to hear what I'm about to say right now, would go running for the hills, or they might start to jump on me and try to claw me and shut me up and grab me and pull my throat all out and every damn thing like an animal, because she's scared as hell to be exposed. I mean, if you've had devices that have worked for a long ass time and they've worked with great accuracy and everything, then you would be scared as hell to be outed on that. Oh shit, my device doesn't work anymore? No, I'm going to tell you guys what the devices are. To pick a fight with you, see? Now, remember, if you're calm and still, can you fight? No. Yahusha? I need y'all to bring up the scripture where when the temptation came to him, he started to swing. He started to rail and get loud. He started to yell and get all braggadocious, and you know how men get when they try to assert themselves. That's false masculinity. I told you, that's the old wine. That's not real masculinity. Yahusha showed you what it is. Peace and calm. That's power. That's masculine. See that there? So now, when you step into that chaos, you're no longer peace and calm. And see, this is what I mean about how you can't say that chaos and peace are both masculine. You can't say it now, can you? Because they don't coexist. One submits to the other. Now, my question is, out of chaos and calm, which one submits to the other? Now, once you see which one submits to the other, which you should be able to see that if you consider Yahusha on the boat and what he said and what happened after what he said, that should tell you who submitted to who. When you see that, then which one is the male and which one is the female then? Because one is the head of the other. So then calm is the head of chaos. So when your woman get chaotic and you get chaotic, are you her head? Couldn't slice her! Told you the old man gotta die. Let his head roll. Let it on roll. My sword's so sharp, it can't stay on no way when I slice. So let it roll on off. And let the new man head sprout up in his place. You feel me? Because that's what needs to happen to men at this hour. And it's only going to happen to the few. Because that's what he said. Only few find this. A man needs to be saved from that. His pride won't allow him to admit it. He still thinks he can win her over. You cannot win her over. Only God can. Man has tried and failed. Men are failing so bad that they are now going their own way. If they could do it, they wouldn't have to go their own way and let somebody else do it for them. They can call it karma. They can call it fate. But they're waiting for something to happen to the woman before they'll deal with her again. In other words, what are they waiting to happen to her? What do you think they're waiting for? But what should they be waiting for? Now that you know the truth. For you to come in alignment with I am. That's simple. And when you do that, everything else doesn't have a choice because now the curse is lifted. Isn't it? I mean, listen to what I'm telling you. If the man no longer listens to the woman, but yet turns and listens to his God now and submits himself to his God, which then in turn makes the woman submit herself to him, don't we have divine alignment and don't we have the garden restored? The problem that got us kicked out of the garden, isn't it now remedied? Isn't it now healed? Isn't the breach that was there, isn't it now shored up and rebuilt? Isn't it? Between the thoughts and the feelings, like the grandson said. You see that? Y'all didn't know I was a wedding officiator. Y'all like that word, officiator. Y'all didn't know I was a wedding officiator. It's the wedding of the Lamb. That's what it's written. The marriage supper of the Lamb, man. You see it? Jerusalem, a bride adorned. It's all about a marriage. And I'm describing it to you now. The way to bring the woman back into subjection is through your calm, cool, still demeanor. That is how you bring the woman into subjection. This is what happened at the Red Sea with the Israelites. Moses represents the husband. The nation of Israel represents the wife. Moses was told at the Red Sea what? Guys, I'll ask you before I end this message and then I'll go ahead on and end it. What was he told to tell them? To run around and get chaotic because they were becoming chaotic? Were they told to get chaotic, to get scared, to get angry, to get any type of emotions? Or were they told to stand still and see and to fear not, but to remain calm, still, peaceful, and just watch? Isn't that what they were told? So then the grandson ain't lying to you about nothing, is he? Yeah. You'll be surprised at the immediate result you'll get from a woman when you remain masculine when she gets chaotic. Because what you're proving is you're unmovable. Now, what woman wants a man that moves at every whim of her emotions? She can even say she does. I'm telling you she doesn't. I'm telling you the truth. It doesn't matter what she says. I'm telling you the truth. She wants a man who is unmovable despite anything that they face. Why would she want that? For safety and security. That's the true security that a man provides. It's not outward appearance. It's not money. It's not clothing. Because when his money goes away, what will he provide as security? When his stock market is no longer there, what will he provide as security? When his weapons no longer are effective, then what will he use as security? When his fortresses are vulnerable, then what will he use as security? I'm telling you what the security is. But men, obviously, by those descriptions I just gave you, have made their security many other idols. Things wherein they think power is, see? There's only one unmovable thing that changes not. I am. So I'll let y'all marinate on that some more, little flop. Y'all be blessed. Salawam, Mr. Allah.